Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Drinks and Discussions. Alongside Marcus, I am Brian, and we will be your host for the next hour or two. We're coming to you live from Uncorked in McKinney, Texas, on the corner of Custer and Virginia. If you're in the area, stop by, come and enjoy some nice, cool beverages or some delicious foods. We are Uncorked in McKinney. And if you're not in the area, stop by. We are on your favorite streaming channels. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and also Twitch. So if you're looking for a good time, want to hear some interesting facts about some drinks, look at some topics for discussion, come on, join us. We are Drinks and Discussions, and we look forward to having you for the next hour or two. Don't forget to hit the like button on your favorite streaming service. We'd be more than happy to acknowledge you throughout the show. Marcus, how goes it, sir?
It goes well. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm trying to make sure we still got some new things coming in here. I got to make sure everything is being shown. Bear with me as I continue going down the list. I want to hide that. There we go. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys joining us. There's a lot to cover tonight. I want to say a whole lot about a lot of things that happened to me personally. Marcus, I know you've been, busy in your secular career and got some things going on. I know things you want to talk about, but I also want to just mention too that if you're in the area and you're a basketball fan, the Mavericks are beating the Los Angeles Lakers like 100 and something to 74. It's a shellacking, and I think it's like 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. So that's kind of a beatdown. I'm just kind of surprised to see that.
Yeah, I don't think LeBron's playing, but I don't think it would have mattered if he was.
You know what? It's so funny you say that because somebody made the analogy, and I'm just now kind of hearing this for the first time, and I kind of agree with it. LeBron James is like the Michael Jordan when he went to the Wizards. Does that make any sense? I mean,
yeah.
It's kind of cringeworthy. It's not a, I don't know if it's actually working.
Yeah, no,
and I know Anthony Davis is hurt. I know Anthony Davis is hurt, but then they got rid of Harden. That didn't work out. Russell Wilson Westbrook is kind of in and out. Not really happy, I don't think, there either. So there's some chemistry issues, I think, there.
Oh, no doubt. Tried to build this super team, but it worked, and dare I say, it barely worked during that COVID season. That's when they won the championship, but I guess they can say it worked nonetheless.
I'm trying to make sure I get this chat box going if anybody says any chats. I want to just make sure we thank all the viewers that we're watching right now. As we continue and move on, we're waiting on our drink portion of the aspect. Danny's over here. He's busy. It's a large crowd in the bar now, and he's going to be making. So, how was your week, Marcus? Tell me about your week, buddy.
Week's been good, man. It's just been busy at work. Weekend was good. Yeah, just been busy on the work front.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Here we go. Mr. Danny, our famous bartender in charge, is here, ladies and gentlemen. So before we get into this, I called Danny or sent him a text message today, and I had been drinking a lot of whiskeys and bourbons over the weekend. And I stayed up until 3 o'clock on a podcast last night, and I was still sipping on that as well. So today, for the first time on the podcast, I am doing, a glass of wine. So Danny's going to tell us what he chose for us, and what we got here.
So what we have here is the Conundrum Red. This comes from the same winery, as a lot of people probably know, as Camus does. So this is a red blend made from Cab, Zinfandel, and Petit Syrah, I believe. So it is a blend of wines from all over California, from Napa down to Santa Barbara, or over to Santa Barbara. This is probably our most popular wine by the glass and by the bottle that we sell.
Really?
Because it comes from, the proprietor that makes this blend is Wagner, and he is also who I believe grows the grapes for Camus. and people associate the name with Caymus. So sometimes people even come in here and say, "Can we get the bottle of Caymus?" I know what they mean.
It's this.
It's this, yes.
And what's it called again?
Caymus. No, this is Conundrum.
Conundrum.
Sorry. Yeah, Conundrum. So Conundrum. And like I said, they make a white blend as well.
Okay.
Tell me what you think.
Smooth. This is really smooth. And they say this is a blend.
It's a blend. Cab, Zinfandel, and Petite Syrah.
I think this is my first blend I've ever had.
Is that right?
Yeah. I think I've always gotten, the Merlots and the Cabs and the Pinot Noirs. I don't think I've ever had a blend before. This is really nice.
I don't want to say too much about wine for any of your listeners that are esteemed winos. I don't want to be corrected, but it's a very sippable, drinkable red wine. Mm-hmm. You like it, right?
It's a summer wine, isn't it? Or does red wine have to be a summer, or is it a winter wine?
I mean,
is that such a thing?
think wine's a very subjective thing. It's different for everyone.
Are the darker colored wines more of an evening wine?
I don't
is
know
that such a thing?
I drink Botobox. $20 for 4 bottles. No, I was just
He's not joking. I promise you, he's not joking.
I drink nice wine too, but I mean, I don't know.
But as Marcus, if you ever started getting more enamored or more enticed to start drinking something, I think wine would probably better suit you more than the harsh alcohol of bourbons and whiskey.
At this point, it ain't gonna happen. It is, right?
I'm just saying.
I know.
But if you're going to introduce him into something, would you make him introduce him to wine first, or would you introduce him to whiskeys and bourbons first?
Well, if it was wine, it would be a white wine, not a red wine.
True story. More like a sweeter wine.
So generally, because I feel like as people drink wine, their palate progresses. So like, I think a lot of people would agree. They start off with white wine that's kind of sweet, like you said. Mm-hmm. Then you progress into the non-sweeter white wines, and then eventually you start drinking red wines.
Okay.
Now let me ask you this. The name Uncorked, is this considered a winery?
Yeah. But I mean, we grew, I think, because of the market, our area right over here, to carry a lot of bourbons and rye and whiskey, because all the folks that live around here, that's kind of what they want. And we got to get the people what they want. So yeah, we started off as a wine bar, but we sell a lot of beer, draft bottle, craft beers. We can make almost any craft cocktail that you can think of. We've got some really nice liqueurs. As you know, and anyone on the podcast that's been watching, we do have a lot of nice bourbons, ryes, and whiskeys as well. And here recently, we've started getting some nicer tequilas too, because I think that we were kind of lacking a little bit in the tequila department.
And I'm promising you guys on the stream, I think tequila will be our next week. I think I'm going to dabble into the tequila.
And see, I've been getting more into tequila. I kind of took my foot off the gas pedal when it comes to the brown liquor, to the bourbon, rye, and whiskey. And I like some tequilas, man. Tequilas are great, sippable. Tequilas are so interesting. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of history of bourbon too.
Right.
But I've just drank bourbon, rye, and whiskey for such a long time now, and I have never really given tequila a good shot. After tequila, it's going to be rum.
Oh,
see,
man.
rum's interesting too.
I know there's a lot of history behind rums.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be kicking and screaming on the rums. But I'll do it. But I'm gonna be kicking and screaming the whole entire time unless you give me a rum that's like blows me away. I'm gonna probably not like it. I've just had bad experiences with rum.
Well, see, with rum you have dark, you have white rum, and then you've got spiced rum as well. So if you've had a bad experience on one, you might try the other two.
Me and Captain Morgan don't get along.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess.
Now you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The wrong type of rum.
So you got over there your CRB. Now that's a true CRB. So when I used to bartend in Seattle, me and all the bartenders would make those, like if we were real slammed busy and we wanted something real quick and refreshing. That's where the term CRB came from, cool refreshing beverage, and that's what that is. So it's pineapple juice, cranberry juice, what else did I do? Orange juice, lime juice, and sour mix. It's a little bit sweeter.
Pineapple juice, orange juice, cranberry.
I think I put a little bit of strawberry puree in that one.
Oh,
it's good, right? Perfect. I knew you were gonna like that one.
Really?
Yeah, I knew you would. So you like them a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, I like them a little bit sweeter.
Good, huh?
No, this is perfect.
One of the guests sitting at the bar, he was kind of joking, but they were asking what I was making, and I said, "Oh, there's a gentleman over here that doesn't drink, never drink." The guy at the bar goes, "Just put a little Jameson in there." I said, "No, I can't do that to him."
And by the way, I'm looking at the chats. I'm looking at the chats we have on here, and Trey is saying, he couldn't make it tonight, but he said, "Oh, wine! I didn't know we were having wine up there. I'm on my way."
Yeah, I knew he was gonna say that.
And then he's talking about then he's also talking about the tequila as well. I'm like, man, you're not partaking of any of this. You snooze, you lose, Chief.
So now, in my ignorance, I'm going to say I've got some UFOs in my drink
So
here,
those
some
are some
unidentified
amaretto
floating
cherries.
objects.
Those are some cherries. Those are the kind of cherries that you should
Oh.
put in an old fashioned. So if
Right.
you go into somewhere to order an old fashioned, and they don't have those kind
No.
of cherries, I would just leave.
We can see him. I can see him.
Okay.
There's a brand that makes them: Luxardo, Maraschino, amaretto cherries. Yeah, they should go in a proper old fashioned. They're great.
No, this is good.
Try one of those cherries. Tell me what you think.
Oh yeah, and I like the.
They're good.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Holy cow!
And when I'm making my old fashions, that's what I use as the sweetener. I don't use
You don't use
simple
simple
syrup
syrup?
or brown sugar simple syrup. I use the juice from the cherries as the sweetener.
Huh?
Cool.
So you two home
That's
runs?
really good.
Cool.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, guys.
Yes,
Enjoy.
sir.
Cheers to you, Danny. We appreciate you as always.
Thank-
Ladies and
thank you,
gentlemen,
Danny.
again, that is Danny. He is the bartender here at Uncorked, our favorite bartender, the Drinks and Discussions bartender. We appreciate his insight and the beverages that he concocts for us, especially the CRB. That's something that we never heard of. I think he can say he coined it because that's where we heard it from at first. So I think we're 2 for 2 tonight. I might have 2 glasses of this, actually. This is really good.
This is good. I'd say I might have 2 glasses of this, but I won't make it through the show without a bathroom break if I drink all of that.
So I want to start with something light before I get into some of the other crap that we were going to be talking about. Some of the stuff is kind of may or may not, you guys may or may not understand because I got involved in this online community stuff. And let me just say this before I get into everything. I want to just say I had no idea, Marcus, that there is an online community of streamers that are specific to their niche. So if I go and say I'm going to hit golf balls, there's a community of people who do similar pages. They're hitting golf balls. Sometimes those people who do similar pages don't get along. And when they find that their viewers are leaving their channel and going to another channel, it gets to be a little messy. So I happen to be watching a channel because you and I, we and the guy who was a commentator, I don't know if you've ever seen one of those guys that, you know how people when they do the Karens and then they got the commentator that sits there and go, hey, I'm pausing the video,
Right.
Watch this Karen, play the video. Now pause the video, let me do a little bit more commentation on the video. So I've seen a lot of people do that. Well, this one guy was mad at the guy who was doing the commenting on his videos. And I happened to be on those channels and those streams, and it was up until 3 o'clock last night on my 3rd episode with these guys. And I'm telling you, when I tell you it's wild, I'm hoping to get one of the guys from that channel to join us if he's, off that channel. But maybe he will. Maybe I'm not sure if he got my message or not, but I would love for him to come over here just so we can kind of, give you guys a synopsis of everything that's going on. But first, before we get to that, let me just send a little message here. I got to tell you guys, and Marcus, I think you're going to enjoy this because I don't know if you saw my post. And I know I sent you one video. Man, let me tell you. The New Edition concert was off the chain. And let me tell you why. It wasn't just because of New Edition. And I got to give props where props are due. Going out with my wife and going out with my best friend and his wife, who's also my best friend, it was great. Enjoying that experience because, I've said this 1,000 times on this channel. I have never been to a concert. Based upon the way I was raised, I've never been to any concert ever in life. And so I was able to go to this concert, and let me tell you, from beginning to end, it was fabulous. And let me tell you why. We decided, because it was my wife and I's anniversary, that we were going to have dinner rather than just stopping somewhere and having dinner. We're going to have dinner at the place. We looked up the place and we said, what kind of food they're going to have. It was like this buffet style, but it was like prime rib and a bunch of just really good food. And so when we got there, my wife and I were walking up, and Tim and Charlotte had already made it there. We're seeing these lines all wrapped around, and we're thinking, man, our doors open at 7, concert starts at 8. Are we really going to have time for us to sit down and have a meal? Well, lo and behold, we find out that the reservations that we had gave us VIP access. We didn't have to wait in one line. We went into the door. There was a lady, checked our ticket stubs, gave us a little wristband. We went on up, and our table in the restaurant at the top was like one of those, those where the VIP booths and stuff, suites are. It was on that level, and we could look out and see the stage where we were sitting.
Right.
So we sat there,
Right.
believe it or not, through the whole Jodeci. Jodeci was the opening performance. We sat there and watched the whole concert, the whole Jodeci set while we're in the restaurant area, which was superb. It was so awesome. Jodeci can sing, by the way.
Yeah. Good old Jodeci, man. That takes me back. I guess that's right around the time when we graduated high school. When they
When we graduated high school.
scene.
Because I remember I was driving the Dodge Daytona at the time. No, it was probably right. It was a little few years after high school, because I think it was 93, 94. Because I was driving the Dodge Daytona, jamming. Was it "You Having My Baby"? So you're having my baby.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I remember it was a CD, and I remember back in the days when you had a CD in your car, you had to go really slow over bumps, or your CD would skip.
Yeah.
So I had that. I remember Jodeci from there. But
Yeah, I don't know. Now, the car that I had back then didn't have a radio. It only had a cassette player that worked.
hey, and by the way, I want to make sure I always give a shout out. I may or may not know if Kenneth is watching. Ken Q, you're my dog. I appreciate you watching. Even if you're not watching, I'm always going to give you a shout out at the beginning of the show. I know my wife is always watching, so I'm going to give her a shout out as well. And Trey, I don't know if you're for sure coming or not, but we would love to see you if you come up here.
Come on, Trey.
So when we get to the dining experience, again, we're thinking to ourselves, do we stay here and enjoy this concert, not being up against anybody, because everybody started clearing out and going to their seats, or do we want to go down there to our seats and experience? They were really wondering if I wanted to experience the concert from the seat level as well as being where we were. I could have been fine either way, but I'm glad we went to our seats because we are among people. Everybody's jamming and dancing and standing up. It was just a good experience. But I just wanted to give you guys just a little bit, if I may, of some of the things that I was able to bring back from the New Edition concert. So if you're watching and you see the little stream on the right-hand corner, lower right-hand corner, I'm going to show you guys just a couple of little shots. So this was our table. Mr. Gunn's name was on there. He made the reservations. That was awesome. Made him feel like a big wig because I made him. It was great. I appreciated him doing all the reservations and getting the tickets for us and all that kind of stuff. It was just awesome. This was the menu from there. That's my lovely wife and me sitting up there dressing like I was in 1985 with the button down, the tie. Yep. I'm not gonna show everything that I posted on there, but because we were just, you can't hear it. Okay, you can see it, right? I didn't want to go through a whole lot of the videos. I'm just going to go through some of them. This is the Jodeci set that you're looking at right now. So, New Edition, I'm trying to scroll to it and get to just some of the things that you'll find very entertaining. This was the beginning. This is the beginning. No.
I love you.
No, that's not the beginning. I wanted to bring out this is the intro. Hopefully you guys can see this. Can you see it?
I'm not sure. If you're out there, let us know if you're able to see it. I'm not sure if they're able to.
So what they're doing right now is that you see the little sign that goes going across back and forth. That's actually the songs that people made referencing New Edition in their songs. They can see it over there. You probably can't see it because you're sitting there next to me, but you'll be able to see it on the other side.
Got it.
But I'm not going to play all of the stuff. I'm just telling you, this is how great this concert was. I want to say thanks to Nathan for watching. Nathan's a buddy of ours. He's a golfing buddy. He's watching as well. Yes, Nathan, I am still on that high, buddy. I mean, if you watch these videos, it's just awesome. I just can't get enough. I'm sorry. You guys are going to hear all about New Edition. If you don't know who New Edition is, I'd suggest you look it up. But I talked to my cousin who went to the Vegas show, and he and I were kind of comparing notes, and he and I were the same on the same accord. This was a stellar performance all around, from Jodeci, Charlie Wilson, and New Edition. New Edition can still sing, even Bobby Brown.
Where was this at?
This was at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth.
Oh, Dickies. Okay, got it.
Which is a nice arena. It was I heard it was a newer arena.
New.
Absolutely, yeah. It was again an experience that will go down. I will never forget this experience, man. It was just that great. And no, Nathan, I'm not going to get up and dance right now, sir. That's at the after party. I'll do that after I have a couple of more drinks. Then I'll start getting up there and doing my New Edition. If I have my dance buddy, Mr. Tim Gunn, with me, it will be going down right now. But he's not here to participate, so I'm not going to do that right now. But I appreciate the suggestion. Appreciate that, sir. But you're a New Edition fan like me. I came in expecting them to sing like older guys, not being able to harmonize, but they did all their singing. I didn't see any background singers, at least not any that was visible. And when you had Charlie Wilson and Jodeci, or Charlie Wilson had background singers, I didn't think I saw any background singers with Jodeci either. But out of all the people, I'm a Ralph Tresvant fan. He's my guy. I'm Ralph. When we do the group dances, I'm Ralph. I'm just letting you know. But Johnny Gill impressed me the most.
Johnny Gill can still do it. Yep.
Because I said this too when I was talking to my buddies on golf. I know Johnny Gill was good with the, but he can get down. He can go to that lower register, and he can have that upper register. Man, he could hold a note. It was at least a minute 30 seconds, just one note, just holding on to it, man. It was incredible.
Yeah, no, New Edition is near and dear to my heart. We've talked about it before. Heck, I think after one of our podcasts before, we kind of jammed out on some New Edition several months back. But and I don't know if I ever shared this story, but my junior year in high school, my mom surprised me with a car. She got the kind of car that she could afford, and so it was an old beat up 1980 Volvo, and I loved crap out of this car. And it was a stick shift, so I had to learn how to drive a stick, and I love this car. I love that car. The radio didn't work in the car, but it had a cassette player, and the only cassette tape that I had was New Edition, Any Heartbreak.
Woo!
And I put that cassette on loop for my whole junior year, my whole senior year. And let me tell you, anytime to this day I hear a New Edition song, it takes me back, and it's kind of one of those things where nostalgic things, so it takes me back to where I was and where I am now.
Right.
So, that's, New Edition.
There are things that people remember what they were doing when something happened. 9/11, January 6th, the birth of your son, your baby, your daughter, your whoever. What those things happened. I vividly recall when my mom and dad brought home the album Any Heartbreak, because they got up, went themselves to breakfast somewhere. We don't know. It was me and my older brother. I don't know if my other brother was still at home or not, but it was me, my older sister, and my younger brother. And remember Sound Warehouse? Sound Warehouse. Yeah. So there used to be record stores, folks. There used to be record stores. Yeah. And Sound Warehouse was one of them. And so they went to Sound Warehouse, came back from their little couples outing, and we were mad because they went to breakfast without us. But they came back with this New Edition record. Man, we put that thing on, and we played it probably the entire day, if not even longer. That's how all of my family loves New Edition. Now, you may not know this. I don't think I've ever shared this story. Parents' 25th anniversary came around. Me, my two brothers, and my sister did If It Isn't Love for their anniversary. Because they enjoyed it. It wasn't like a sentimental. My mom and dad, see, my brother, look, again, I don't have any qualms of telling people about personal stuff, but my brother was on drugs at an early age. He was in high school, got hooked on drugs. So he was kind of in and out of our family while he was on drugs. So when my brothers and my sister and my younger brother all were together as we became adults, that was kind of a special thing. When all four of us were able to get together, and when we came together for my mom and dad's anniversary, that was kind of like one of those things. Even my nieces and nephews now, they all remember or recall that performance because they've all seen it on the videotape because they had VHS tapes back then. And it's just something that, it's still one of the most rememberable moments I can recall throughout my life. What say you, Mr. Marcus? What say you? Give me your New Edition moment outside the car. Any other ones?
I've seen them a couple of times in concert. I was going to ask you, were all six of them there?
All six. All six.
Dang.
And they incorporated, and I could show more videos with you guys throughout the podcast, but they incorporated their own BBD, their own Johnny Gill, their own Ralph Tresvant, their own the whole thing. They kind of incorporated that into the performances. So while some of them were making the little wardrobe changes, BBD out there and plays it, Do Me Baby. It was fantastic. Even Ricky got out there and sang One More Day. I'm telling you, dude, if I get goosebumps still just thinking about this. And I don't call it weird.
Damn.
I'm sorry if I sound weird, but it was awesome. And it was the people that I hung out with. It was, my wife. It was Tim and Charla. It was New Edition. It was just great. I want to show you guys the performance when they did. Can You Stay in the Rain? Well, it'll get your spine tingling. I'm telling you, man. They had the lights, the strobe lights blinking like lightning, and then all of a sudden you just heard the wind blowing, and then all of a sudden you heard the little thunder or the little, the clashing of thunder, and then all of a sudden, man, I'm trying to tell you, woo.
So, okay, let me ask, is Jennifer a New Edition fan?
So, Jennifer, believe it or not, I was a little concerned about this, and this is not against her personally. I support my wife. But I was afraid that, she wasn't a big New Edition. She knows I love New Edition, but she just wasn't a big fan of New Edition like I am. So, but I knew she would be having a good time. But had I known that she was a big Jodeci fan, I would have been like saying more and more about Jodeci because that was more because my wife is 5 years younger than me, so New Edition was probably not her taste when she was in high school and all that kind of stuff. Jodeci was, but Jodeci's our kick too. I mean, it's on the same level. She just didn't get down. She knows she knows the songs, but Jodeci. I mean, the DJ, the warm up act while they're getting stuff ready and people were filling in the seats was DJ Cool. Let me clear my throat. Listen, dude, my wife and I were sitting here, and there were some of the videos I kind of had to skip through because I didn't want to put her on the podcast, but we're sitting at the dinner table and we're munching and grooving at the same time, man. It was fantastic. My wife had a good time. It looks like she had a blast. I mean, even as we were walking through trying to find our tables, she's dancing to the music and stuff like that because they played a whole lot of just old school jams with DJ Cool. It was great.
That's awesome.
Hey guys, we appreciate your viewership. Please just give us a like. If you're on Facebook, give us a like. We would really, really appreciate this. I do see that we have some watchers out there. Nathan, he's chiming in, and he's glad that we had a good time as well. And my wife is echoing the fact that Jodeci was her group of the night. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for that like, Trey Straw. Man, how is he just now liking us? I mean, Trey is part of the crew. He should have liked us a long time ago. What's going on? Or maybe he's just liking the episode. Is that it? Maybe we should be having him to follow. Maybe we'll get a notification he's following his own podcast. Isn't that something? Are you a follower, Trey, of the podcast that you are a co-host on?
Maybe he's on his podcast showing our podcast.
Maybe. Yeah, look, somebody, if you guys are on Twitch, go to what's his Twitch channel? What? Jeez. Jesus, what is it? I can't remember. It's gonna come to me, but it's something corny, of course, because it's Trey's. But I can't remember. Now I'm stuck on what it is. Trey, you're still watching, so.
Is it Prime is Pro?
Prime is Pro. That's it. That's it. We got you, Trey. You don't have to tell us. Prime is Pro. We're good. We're good to go. We appreciate you guys. Okay, so we're going to move on. I could talk about this concert for a long, long time. But there's something more important for us to discuss. And let me tell you how I came about this. Once again, I was up all night doing a podcast, and I'm getting ready to terminate my I'm getting ready to terminate my participation in this podcast. And as I'm doing it, I just started checking out other YouTube stories and stuff. Lord behold, somebody put something out there that Will Smith smacked the crap out of Chris Rock. And I looked at it, and the first one I saw, I was like, this is a fake. This did not happen. But then, I don't know if you've seen this, Marcus. I saw the unedited version, uncensored version that they have been showing overseas. And what I'm telling you, I've got all types of things to say about this. I'm not sure if everybody's ready to hear what I have to say. But I'm going to, because you promised the stream that you're going to be a lot vocal this time. You were going to be, let it all hang out. I'm going to let you have the floor, sir. This is your moment.
I didn't watch the Oscars. I kind of lost sight and lost touch of all of these award shows. You know, I can't really keep up. But so I didn't watch the Oscars. And then the next morning, getting ready for work. This is on Monday morning. I'm listening to my local sports radio station that I listen to and get all my news and gossip from. And they're talking about Will Smith. What the heck are they talking about Will Smith?
Right.
And as they continue, they started playing some of the audio from that night. And again, I hadn't seen or heard anything. And I'm thinking to myself, what the heck is going on? And then I turn on the news, and I see some still camera shots of, Will Smith's arm in action and Chris Rock's face, kind of like the slow motion cartoon animation thing going on. But So it's out there now. Will Smith has slapped somebody. Will Smith has he's become a verb now. But here's my thing. I think he was wrong for that. Who can I slap and get away with?
No one.
I don't. Right. On any level. And I saw a little bit of what Stephen A. had to say, and it's always, and I'm gonna just take it there for a second, but it's always another brother trying to rise up against another brother. And I'm not sure I understand that. I'm not sure I will ever understand that. But of all people, and considering that he won an award for playing another role model, I'm not sure I understand. I'm not sure I understand at all.
I was going to use some of the jokes. There's a lot of jokes out there. I was going to, do the bit where Chris Rock says, I won't choke a woman, but I understand. I won't hit a woman, but I understand. But then I started reading some of the things that people are saying, like you intimated there. I don't believe in that notion that there's black on black crime. I think that's a narrative that people use to make other black people or make black people look barbaric, because you don't hear Mexican on Mexican crime. You don't hear white on white crime. You only hear those things when they are trying to speak about black in the black communities disparagingly. So this is why this makes it look even worse for me. I don't like to see people, especially people who are in a position of affluence. I mean, he's not a person who's just getting started. This is a person who has been in the industry for a long time, who's made his mark on the industry. He was Mr. Summer. The movies he come out with were always released in summer because he was a box office hit. Still is. But you mean to tell me somebody makes fun of
comedians. Chris Rock. Chris Rock. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, guys. We kind of ran into technical difficulties where the stream stopped for a few seconds there, but we are back. I hope you guys are still watching. We did disconnect this for a few minutes, but we were talking about this Chris Rock slap, and the last thing I think I was trying to say is that for someone to strike that type of emotion where you get up out of your chair, I get it. You get up out of your chair and you want to flex and say, hey, stop it. But to get to the point where you get up and walk, a grown man gets up and walks 15, 20 feet to go and actually slap someone just for saying words as a comedian, I'm still trying to get my head around what's going on here.
Right. I heard it said today, and I hadn't thought about this, but because everybody's trying to think. When you see something like this happen, you always try to think, okay, how could it have been handled differently? How could Will Smith still have been upset? And if he was upset, he had every right to be upset. Those are his feelings. Those are his emotions. Now, it's just how he responded to that. But how could he have handled it different? I heard someone say that maybe he could have made Chris Rock look like an ass, and gone up to him, put his arm around him, and said, "Look, I think you just went a little bit too far. I think you crossed the line."
Right, and
then walk off.
And I'm trying to make sure everybody sees how cringeworthy this actually is. So I'm going to play that for you guys, if you guys can see the screen. I'm going to try to find the shortest clip I can without any commentary, and see if you guys see what we're talking about, because maybe some of you guys didn't see the event in its entirety. So I'm going to see if I can play it, and if I have to skip through some of the other stuff in here, I will.
Dana, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm I'm out here. Richard.
Now, I want to make sure you guys know, too, when you're watching this, Will Smith is laughing at this joke. There's plenty of other camera angles where you see he's laughing. But then they showed Jada kind of sit there, and she's kind of cringed a little bit. And there's commentary out there, I don't know, that when he saw that particular reaction from Jada is when he decided that this was something he was going to do.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will
That's
Smith.
as a comedian. I mean, heck, Will Smith is a comedian. You've got to. Not saying you have to like it, and maybe not. I'm not even saying that you can't reach out to that person and say, "Hey, man," or "Excuse me, ma'am." That was that was a little bit too far. Can you tone it down a little bit? But so Will Smith, you would think he would understand, Chris Rock's position as a comedian. Just
listen.
That's what they do.
I'm not going to try to put words in my wife's mouth. If she wants to tell me I'm wrong, she can. She's watching the chat. But I know my wife, and if there's a time where might be an altercation, even if somebody is hurling insults or something, and I'm going to defend her honor, my wife is going to grab me by the arm. She's going to tell me, let's get the hell out of here and don't do anything stupid. Because I guarantee you, me beating or hitting or getting involved in an altercation physically with anyone is not what she wants. That doesn't seem to fit what she believes is honoring her. And neither do I. Now, if somebody puts their hands on my wife, that's a different story.
Yep.
That's not the narrative here, folks. We're talking about someone who is a comedian who's saying something in jest, and Will Smith thought it was in the night where he was the favorite to win an award for Best Actor, that he wanted to embarrass himself, sully his name, his reputation, by doing something for someone who he obviously is bigger than. I don't know the dimensions of Chris Rock, but if I was putting a betting man, I would put money on Will Smith to beat Chris Rock's butt 99 times out of 100.
I will say Chris Rock is a little bit bigger than the character he played in New Jack City.
Oh, absolutely. Listen.
He's a little bit bigger now. But
I get it. But he ain't Will Smith big.
No, he's not. He's not.
Just saying. I don't think that would be a competitive fight. I don't think I want to see that, actually. But what I'm saying also is, and Will Smith tried to come across as being, caught in the moment. Love will make you do stupid things, kind of a comment. I get it. But this is not high school love. You've been married to your woman for I don't know how many years. You have had her sully your name about affairs and, when you guys, the red table talk and all that kind of stuff, and you chose this to be the straw that broke the camel's back. I just don't get it. I wish somebody could play. If you guys are watching the stream and you think that you have better insight on why you believe this happened, let me know. I just don't get it. And I'd be damned. I've seen women on Facebook saying, if you don't want to be like Will Smith from me, you ain't my kind of man. Like, listen, don't. That's why you single. that is why you sitting here talking about if you're not this kind of man, that's why I don't want you. That's why you don't have a man.
Because in any other situation, assault charges are going to be filed. Even worse, somebody get seriously hurt or even killed.
Right. And that's part two of this discussion. I get it that Chris Rock didn't want to press charges. I get it. But to see nobody do anything but hug Will Smith and pacify him almost made me sick. And I love Denzel Washington. But for him to sit there and be all this, and I don't know what he said to Chris Rock. I don't know if he knows Chris Rock. I don't know if he went and did anything. It wasn't publicly shown. But I'm sitting up there. If it was you, I would be looking at you saying, man, come on, dude. I'm like this. I'm not like this. I'm like, come on, man. What's going on with you? What you do that, man? Come on, that's not what we about. it was, and I get it. Two black men on an award show that has been notoriously, even boycotted, known for being predominantly whitewashed, whatever you want to say it. I'm not saying it. That's what they've said. To have this happen was a slap in the face of a lot of people who paid the price, paved the way in order for them to be even nominated. This is where I get more on the intellectual side of things, folks. When you see that we are still in a climate where people still don't believe when we cry racism that it's a valid cry. Oh, no, we live in a world now that everybody says racism this and racism that. When people who are intelligent tell you that they're experiencing some form of racism, that is not a fictitious statement. That is not something they're trying to fit a narrative or a political statement, folks. So when somebody says that, please listen to them. And when somebody is disappointed in their other minorities that they belong in their minority group does something this stupid, and we come out and we are vehemently saying that this is not something that anybody should condone. I mean, give us the point of the matter of fact that we know what we're kind of talking about, and it affects us a little bit differently than it may affect you guys. Not saying that it doesn't affect people, but from my perspective, I think it hurts the minority and the minority. What minorities have tried to do and overcome for all these years, especially when it comes to the Oscars.
Right. I mean, it's fact. I mean, it's a horrible fact, but we don't have much room for error. And when you do these kind of things, it does. It's quick to. It made Will Smith look bad.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it would have been nice, though, to your point, to see, because here's the thing, like we were talking about Antonio Brown earlier, or during the football season and his outburst. It's quick to want to say, man, what's wrong with him?
Mm-hmm.
But I think we try to take a step back and look at it, thinking, this man needs help. There's got to be something wrong internally that's causing him to do this. So while I'm frustrated and bothered at Will Smith, I'm also wondering too, because like you said, with all the other stuff that's been coming out, why was it this straw? And I believe that it wasn't this straw that necessarily. Well, this was just that drop of water that made the cup overflow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The cup was already full, mm-hmm. and this was just that drop that made it overflow. Mm-hmm. And so that said, I hope somebody has sat him down and very sternly told him how wrong he was, because he needs to know that he was wrong. Yes, he's come out and said that he was wrong, but has anybody close to him told him that he was wrong? And I think that needs to happen.
Man, I hope he doesn't have a whole bunch of enablers around him. But I will tell you this. I'm hoping he comes out of it. I'm a big Will Smith fan. I've loved everything, just about everything he's done. But I will tell you, I've heard this narrative also that Will Smith grew up in an abusive household. His father was an abusive person to his mother. He published some memoirs that said that there were times where he wanted to actually kill his father for being so abusive to his mother. And so when he sees another woman being abused, that may have been triggered. But what I didn't understand was, like you said, him sitting there laughing the whole entire time and then maybe looking over and seeing his wife is bothered. My wife is bothered about something. I look over and go, "Are you okay? You want to leave? You want to go talk about this in the back?" I mean, I don't care damn the show if I have to get up in the middle of this broadcast and walk across these cameras because you are uncomfortable. That's what we're going to do. And then I'm going to have words with Chris Rock in the background. Say, man, listen, that shit wasn't funny. My wife didn't like it. And I heard also that Chris Rock did not know that Jada Pinkett had a medical issue, alopecia or whatever.
Alopecia.
So he's just going on, and my wife said she didn't even know. She thought there was a red table talk where they all cut their hairs down to get back to their natural look. And so that is what everybody was thinking that was the case with Jada's haircut.
Well, quite honestly, this is the first time that I've heard of her. So well, maybe there's something to that.
What would you do if you're Chris Rock? What would you do right now if you were Chris Rock and that happened to you? What would you do?
I don't know if I would have stood there and been slapped.
True story.
I don't know if I'm,
Chris Rock, you got two options. This dude's coming 15, 20 feet to you. You got a chance to back up or get the heck out of Dodge. Or get ready to go. Come on, Will. You good? You good, Will? Like, you know, at least say, come on, Will, you good. Back you off. I ain't going to let you get that close to me to slap. Slap is a form of disrespect. Right. In case you guys don't know, a slap is by far worse than a punch. It is the most emasculating gesture another man can do to another man. Am I wrong here?
Nope.
Okay.
You're not wrong. But no, you're not wrong.
And I get it, Nathan. Nathan's saying you stand up for your woman. Yeah, nobody's saying that you don't stand up for your woman when you feel as if, you know, she's being, you know, abused or attacked, but you don't. Somebody whose words does not escalate to the point of violence. If you want to heckle him, hey man, stop talking about my wife, Chris. That's enough. See what his response is. That I get. Interrupt the show that way. But to violently go up to somebody, again, if it was me, I got my posture like this. Will, you good, man? Come on. You good? You good? We good? I'm
especially how quickly he's approaching.
Right. I'm like, dude. And he ain't smiling when he's walking up there either.
No.
So I also would probably tell Will, look, we can handle this out of the court system. Here's my price. Because people are going to replay this over and over. Every award show. Kanye is now a moot point. Will Smith has taken over for every award show. Somebody's going to stand up and they're going to think that they're going to get a smackdown for whoever stands up moving forward for every award show. I just don't get it. Look, we got some. I got Nathan said you stand up for your woman. We get that. If you guys got some other comments, we appreciate you guys watching. Just chime in. We're trying to get all your. You can see the chats in the window here too if you're watching. So if there's anything else you want to say, we'll make sure we bring it to the stream as well.
Well, let me. I'm gonna cry foul, or I'm gonna call bluff on those people out there that are saying that you should stand up for your woman, because if they're going to a comedy show and they're on the front row or anywhere in that room, and the comedian is poking fun at them or their wife, are they saying that they're going to go up on stage and physically assault that comedian?
Right. No, they're not. They're not doing that.
I'm calling bluff here.
Yeah, you go and say, hey, I want my money back because I feel like we were being assaulted or accosted here in this crowd. Right. Not our cup of tea. Can I get a refund? We're going to go to a movie.
Right.
You know, we gave it a shot, folks. We gave it a shot. This is not for us. I think I would love to be roasted. One of my clients is the owner of, we've talked about this before, TK's Comedy Club. They are a comedy club where they probably do some of this stuff. If I'm sitting there and somebody's roasting me, I'm hoping my wife would have thick skin and probably take it on the chin and move on, and not ask me to defend her honor. Listen, and here's another side of that, folks. If your wife or your girlfriend is telling you to defend her honor because somebody's making fun of her, you might want to reevaluate things.
Right, you might need a new woman.
Yeah, because I know a lot of really fantastic women, headstrong women, none of them I can think of would say, get up there and whip his ass. I just don't think any of them would say that. Get up, let's go. And then yell at me,
And again,
yell at me for bringing them to the goddamn show that they had to be made fun of like that, and they will never let me pick the place the next time we go out. But get up there and whip his ass? No, they ain't gonna ask me to do that. Not the women I know.
right. And again, we're talking, we're not talking about somebody putting hands on your woman or your friend, your lady. We're talking about someone in jest making comments and making funny comments at that.
Right. Absolutely. What say you guys? Again, we're watching. You guys are watching out there. We're at Uncorked. We're in McKinney, Texas, on the corner of Custer and Virginia. If you're still out there, I think you've still got some time to come by. If you want a little nightcap, a little snacky snack before your bed, come on. Great food, great drinks. I'm going to ask Danny for another one as well. Yo, Danny, can I get another glass? This is good, man. I like it that much.
You're liking the conundrum.
The conundrum has me in a conundrum on why I like it so much, and yeah, it's a hell of a thing. I'm having a conundrum on why I like this so much. All right, Chief. We'll see you next Tuesday, if not before. All right, so we are. Again, I want to thank everybody for watching. We've got some viewers out there. Again, if there's anything you wanted to chime in, we're going to try to get all your comments in if you can. But we're just talking about my New Edition concert, which I can still talk about. We're still talking about the Will Smith slap. That's great. I still don't understand why it happened, but I know we're going to be talking about it for a while. I want to know what the payment's going to be, because I know Chris Rock is probably saying, a couple of million, 5 million, 10 million, something like that, and then this goes away. And Will Smith, you can never talk about this ever again. If anybody asks you about it, you shut your mouth and just say, I feel bad about it, but I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Right.
Speaking of lawsuits.
Yeah.
See how I got to segue that into there? This is kind of something.
Seems to be
I don't know if it's local news, it's national news, it's something that people even care about. But 80-something-year-old, my America's team owner, Jerry Jones, embroiled with some craziness. I never thought that he was kind of like this guy, but I don't put it past any billionaire to be stepping out on his wife, no matter what they project themselves to be in public. I think men, and I've worked for some really wealthy people, and I kind of suspected them doing the same thing. Jerry Jones embroiled in this love child fiasco has really got me kind of scratching my head here. Why don't you take us down this little timeline here, Marcus?
Yeah, it makes me laugh, But so a few weeks ago, there was word of a lawsuit out there against Jerry Jones, and this lawsuit was coming from a young lady named Alexandra Davis, and she is presumed to be or claiming to be Jerry Jones's daughter. Now, it is out there now that Jerry Jones did have a relationship with her mother, Cynthia Davis. This would have been back in the mid to late 90s. And a child was conceived, a child was born, and at that time there was an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement signed between Jerry Jones and Cynthia Davis that that neither one of them would speak of this situation publicly or privately, and that he agreed to pay several lump sums of money over the next couple of decades to both Cynthia Davis and Andrea Davis, who is due If I'm not mistaken, she's 25. She's 26 now, if I'm not mistaken. When she turns 28, she's due another lump sum installment, and I think that might be the last one that she'll get. But apparently, according to her and her attorneys, now these are their words, not mine, that they just want to have the right to call, or she just wants to have the right to call Jerry Jones or to recognize him publicly as her father. Um, Jerry Jones and his team of attorneys, or his gaggle or flock or school of attorneys, because he's got a bunch of them, they have filed a countersuit wanting to throw this paternity petition out, stating or claiming extortion. So that's where we are right now, and there's going to be a hearing, I believe, this Thursday, where they're trying to get this thrown out, and we'll see what happens from there. But
So
I don't know. What do you think about it?
So I'm trying to find out if, so this is part of the reasons why the judicial system kind of bewilders me, because rich people seem to want to tie things up in court. They've got longer money. Longer money is probably a street term, but they've got longer money than the normal people. So all these injunctions and all of these petitions and all these types of things that get tied up cost money. Attorneys cost money. And when people are tying up the court systems because they know you're going to run out of money before they do, bothers me. I don't understand why they do it. I get where she's kind of coming from. If I ever had thought, which I don't, baby, I don't want you to think that I'm implying anything, but if I had an illegitimate child, I would want them to know about me. I would want them to come out and say, hey, I'm yours. I might not have any feelings, or it was a mistake with your mother, but the child has nothing to do with this. And this is what I'm unclear about. Whatever agreement he had with the mother, does that include what the then minor child could say, and now what the adult child can say? What is the provision in that particular, settlement that covers this? I don't know. I want to know, because it doesn't make any sense how you can actually speak for a child on their behalf when they can't legally, get involved into a contract with anyone till now they're adult and they can make the decision. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm not clear on how that works either, but it could be as simple as, like you said, if you're a minor child, you're not legally able to enter into any form of contract without a guardian or parental consent. So maybe that's the angle that they're using. Maybe that's the loophole that they found, because again, it's not the mother, Cynthia Davis, that's bringing this to light. It's the daughter that has brought this out.
Right.
So, but now that it is out, you, in this situation where money has exchanged hands, if you didn't believe that this was your child from the very beginning, why not fight it?
Right.
Why not fight it? But now that we're 25 some odd years down the road and this is out, you must think, or you must have some sense that this at least could be your child. And if that's the case, why try to fight and throw out this paternity test? Just take the test. Take the test so everybody knows. And you can do it on, if you want to get on the Maury Povich show or whatever show that was, and have him pull out the brown envelope and read it in front of everybody. But if you believe this is not your child, then take the paternity test. The only reason, in my opinion, that they're trying to tie this up, I think, goes deeper than what we are seeing on the surface. I mean, if there could be some ramifications, down the road, down the road between him and his current wife. But who knows?
Who knows? I feel for everybody involved. Those are kind of touchy situations that we're on the outside looking in. We are speculating. We don't claim to be experts or have the inside information on this particular topic. It hit the radar. We're Cowboy fans. Well, I'm a Cowboy fan. And it's just some of those things that the more you start listening and reading about this, the more and more you feel as if this is going to become a bigger story. And I said this to Marcus as we were warming up for the show. I believe this is not something that you want to end your legacy on. You don't want to hang your legacy on this being the final moment of. Again, Jerry's 80-something, approaching 80-something, if not 80-something.
Approaching 80. He's almost 80.
This is not something you want to be having lingering on everybody's mind as you're still trying to win that Super Bowl before you call it quits. So I hope it works out for the young lady. I hope that there are not any other ones out there. Jerry should be smart enough to know he should have used the Jim hat. I don't know why he didn't listen to New Edition and say the J, the I, the M, the M, the Y-O. I need a body bag.
I need a body bag.
I don't get it. Come on, Jerry. Hey, Nathan, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go ahead and boot you from the show because you said go Giants. I'm going to go ahead. Can you kick people off our podcast? I don't know. Listen, after I'm telling you about this next thing we're talking about, there were people booting themselves off of this channel. I don't know how to do that. I'm not that sophisticated in the streaming services of this podcast. But if there was one to get booted, Nathan, there would be you.
I want to say something real quick about that term extortion. The Jerry Jones camp is feeling like they are being extorted by Alexandra Davis, and they alluded to the fact that they are also being extorted by some other parties that will be named later in some of their countersuits. I feel like it's only the rich people that will ever claim extortion. Now, and maybe that's true, but if you feel like you're being extorted, I feel like there's going to be some really strong reasons as to why someone might attempt to extort you. But I'm going to look at it this way. When these rich people are money whipping people to manipulate and get what they want, is that not a form of extortion? Is that not? I mean, so because they're willingly giving away their money, is it that they don't want to give it away and now it's becoming extortion? I don't know. I mean, that's more of a rhetorical question, but it's just a thought that I had. I don't know if I
don't call it extortion. I just call it doing me a favor. If you just do me this little favor.
There you go. Just do me a favor.
It's legal if you just say I need a favor. There's no
yes.
What is it? Oh God, I can't say the name. The one that's in the art.
Yeah. Quid pro
quo. There is no quid pro quo, so it's nothing illegally done. I feel sorry for you, Jerry. I can't believe you let us down morally. I didn't think you had that many moral scruples anyway. So you're right on target of what I thought you probably would have done. I thought you would have had more kids, but for the little lady that's the young lady that's, I don't know, how old is she?
She's 25 or 26.
For the young lady going through this, more power to you. And I think, did you talk about this in the chat or pregame? You were saying that she has some political aspirations.
Yes, I believe she does have some political aspirations. She works. I can't find it. If I can find it real quick here. But she does. I think that when she is seeking her government clearances and whatnot, she had to name her father on her birth certificate, and I think that's what started some of this. So she had to get it out there. And I think that's all that she's trying to do at the end of the day, because it's not like Jerry Jones owes her any child support. He's done that part. So kudos for him for doing that. You know, as shady as it may have been, kudos for him for doing that. But so it's not that she's looking for back child support or looking for money that's owed to her. You know, she just wants to be able to publicly say, yeah, that's my daddy.
I might actually.
That's all it is.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I might just have to. If you guys see the screen change a little bit, I may have to change that because I might be inviting someone else to the podcast, and I want to make sure I do that correctly and create the invite link, copy that, and then go back to what we were talking about. Sorry about that, guys. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. But I've been dying to talk about more than just Jerry Jones. And as you guys, if you guys need a bathroom break, take the break. But I'm about to tell you guys something about what I've been doing. I'm looking at Nathan's comment about we can discuss all this at altered date offline. Nathan, I am not talking about the Giants with you ever. If you ever come on the golf course talking some Giants, some New York Giants nonsense, I'm going to get out the cart, go and get my own cart, leave you stranded when you're getting ready to swing your ball. And if we were in the same cart and you start talking about the Giants, you're going to be swinging the club, and I'm going to be in the cart, and I'm going to be driving all the way back to the clubhouse, leaving you stranded where you can't walk, where you have to walk all the way back. And I'm going to wait till at least I'm probably hole number 7 or 8. Give you the longest walk back in your life. What say you then now, Mr. Curtis? Anyway, don't talk about my Cowboys. Chris Rock, Will Smith, you talk about my Cowboys. Somebody sent me that, and it was too early for us to talk about it today. We'll probably joke about it on the next podcast, but I got a lot of memes that were really kind of funny when we're talking about the Chris Rock and Will Smith dust up. So, let me tell you guys what I've been doing, and then I'm going to show you guys a couple of things. I'm trying to give people the link to their YouTube channel as well, and hopefully you guys are getting it. I think we got some people watching here or liking the page or something here. I'm going to try to go back. Folks, bear with me. I think you're really going to enjoy what I'm about to tell you guys. And if you just bear with me for a quick second. I'm going to go here, my channel, go here, copy this, and then put this back here to videos. And then I'm going to put this back into this chat here. Okay, so much to do. We need if anybody wants to be like a producer with us, so we don't have to sit here and do all of the copy and pasting, typing, and everything throughout the podcast. Let us know. We'd love to have a moderator on the team. So here's the deal, folks. I hope you guys are watching, ready for this, because if you're not really paying attention, you may not understand. So I've been watching other channels to figure out how we can better our viewership, just because I want to be better at this little hobby that we do. As you can see, we've come a long way. We've got the graphics behind us. We've got the chat in the window. We have now, tonight, I don't know if you guys noticed, tonight's the first night where we've actually had the window where you can actually see the screenshots, whether than it's have to share a screen inside of our face bubbles. So here's the deal. I went to these channels, and there are people who look at videos and they have their commentary added to these videos. You know, when Karens are freaking out, when people are fighting, they'll play the video, then they'll have this little pause where they are giving you some type of funny dialogue based upon that video. So these are some people that were probably in that. And again, this community that I stumbled upon, it's kind of crazy. I'm not going to get into all the drama that are going back and forth between them. But I've been watching this one guy who has been getting thousands upon thousands of viewers based upon his view of the FOIA Act, the Freedom of Information Act. The Freedom of Information Act basically says that you can go into any public body and request documents or records from the city officials. Anything that's public, you can get a copy of if you want. And that's FOIA Act changes from state to state. It's not always the same. Why this matters, and why am I talking about it? Because I'm not a FOIA expert. I get it. Brian, why are you talking about FOIA? Because this guy claims to be an expert. And he has been taking this camera and shoving it in people's faces, these employees, not government officials, these employees, and it's demanding things from them. And when he does this, he's been called out in this community for being uneducated, rude, condescending, disrespectful to women, all of these types of things. And I have basically, I'm going to send this to you, Marcus. I actually have a bookmark for what he was specifically trying to comment on. It was the Illinois FOIA Act. Let's see, how can I put this in here? Can I put this in here? Let's get that out of here. Why am I using that? I'm going to get out of this and go to my Drinks and Discussions page. Sorry about the production value, guys. We're still trying to do our own thing while we're doing this. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to put it in the chat stream if you can see it. And you guys can look at this too. I'm going to put it in here. And if you guys want to check this out, please don't give this guy a whole lot of your time. That's the FOIA Act. I'm not giving you a link to his page just yet. But that's the FOIA Act that he was discussing. So if you guys have a good idea of what he's trying to discuss in his channel. But I'm going to play something for you guys, if you will allow me. I'm going to play a tidbit of his shtick as he's I don't want to say accosting, but he's aggravating employees. Now listen, filming your political officials is your right. I understand that. These are not political officials. They work in the public, where you're in the city hall and the water utility building or whatever, and so that's available and accessible to the public. Get it? But recording these individuals makes no sense. But I also want you to listen to what he's saying, how he's saying it, and I want you guys' take on some of the crap that he's doing. So I'm going to play it, let it play for a little bit, and you guys tell me, just from the brief moment that he's talking, what you guys think. And I'm going to try to play one of the most recent ones, too. Not the ones that I was in critiquing his bad behavior. But I'm going to give you one that says how he's rude.
Do you have bills piling?
What I'm up though, guys. Freedom of Information Officer shall develop. Here we go.
So here he goes.
Hello, hi, ma'am. Hi, what's your first name?
It's Brianne. Are you recording?
Brianne? Yes, ma'am. Audio and video.
Okay.
Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, I need to.
Now, see, look, this is the problem. If you guys are watching, the guy gets in there with a clipboard and has no idea what he's actually there to ask. He starts flipping pages. And then and they're looking at him like, why is this guy doing this? He's not even able to articulate his reason for being there. And of course, his reason for being there is to only disrupt their business day and to be popular on YouTube, which makes no sense. So I'm going to let it play some more, and then you guys again, listen to what the words he says, and how he treats these ladies.
Five ILCS 143.5. Freedom of Information Officer shall develop a list of documents or categories or records that a public body shall immediately disclose upon request.
Okay.
That's what I need there.
Okay. Can you hold on a moment?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Meanwhile, let me gather this info here.
We appreciate the viewers, by the way. And again, I'm going to fast forward through some of this nonsense because, as you can see, all he does is just kind of sit there and fumble through papers and all that kind of stuff. And
Not what I'm requesting at this
so,
time.
and now watch what they tell him.
Let's fill it.
And I read the FOIA Act for Chicago, or Illinois, and as everybody is aware, you can access these things online. There's no reason why you can't get online, especially if you are a YouTuber. You're publishing or you're broadcasting, streaming online. Now watch what he tells her. You probably can't hear this, I don't know. But if you can, watch this, guys, if you're out there, and listen to how rude, condescending this jerk is.
I must have overlooked it. Yup, it's right here. Okay. Let me fill these out right here on the blank page.
And he doesn't want to fill out, and he doesn't like filling out forms. He wants to be able to freehand his request because the standard form they give him doesn't meet his needs. So he says, I can just write whatever I want to write, and you guys are supposed to take this request no matter what form it's on. Yes, Trey, they are freedom auditors, and some of them are bozos.
That's perfect. Thank you. Pause this to fill this out.
You're asking for a list of the FOIA requests we've received?
No, that would be the FOIA log. It's basically...
Oh, the FOIA log.
No, that's not what I'm asking for. A list of the FOIAs that you received would be considered a FOIA log, but that's not what I'm requesting at this time. This is... Your FOIA officer shall develop a list of that.
So he's reading the FOIA Act to this person. He's not asking her for something specific. He's stopping and reading to her what the actual FOIA Act says because he doesn't understand it.
Documents or categories of records that the public body shall immediately disclose upon
Oh,
request.
I see. So what we have to give you...
Immediately.
Immediately.
And it's not a demand. It's not a demand. Let's not use that word. It's these words here, which are
Yeah, I was just
state
trying to
statutes.
understand. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I
Okay.
understand a little better what you're looking for.
Okay, thanks.
So you see he's got the FOIA Act printed out on a piece of, it's a little paper there, and he's trying to tell them what it is he needs, even though he doesn't have a general idea at all of what the FOIA Act means. So I've been going back and forth. I want to, you guys are going to look at this, and the name is Audit Them. It's at the top here. Look at this guy. And it bothers me that this is the kind of generation in which we are in right now, where we're at the point where people are using shock and awe value in order to generate revenue for whatever they want. Because, you know, people get paid for YouTube. You know, it's a kind of a thing now. But to do it this way is just weird to me. And I know I'm an older guy, Trey. I know you're watching in the chat, even though you didn't have the cahoots to join us live and in person today. I get it. But explain it to me. If you guys are out there, and I know there are freedoms that we all have the freedom to do. But what's the purpose of going up to a city water department, treasury, finance department, and asking for the budget book from 2012? What are you doing with that information? What's the point of going up there with a camera in somebody's face? And as you say, when people feel like their privacy is invaded, whether you are allowed to do it or not, they don't behave necessarily all that well. If you come to my office, regardless of where I'm at, with a camera in my face, and I don't know why you're doing it, I may have a problem with you, and you might get a different version of Brian that you would normally get without the camera. Now, you watched a little bit of it.
Yeah,
What'd you think?
Yeah, I watched a little bit, and at first I was trying to. It took me a minute to really understand what was happening because, like you said, he wasn't formally asking for anything. He wasn't very clear with his request on what it was that he was trying to get, and that's one of the things that's part of that FOIA Act is that you have to make your request known, what you want. But for someone to walk into my place of employment with a video camera, well, I'm not going to say that because I don't know. Maybe I would very clear with his request. In this case, these city agencies, I feel bad for them. They almost have to kind of take it sometimes.
Right, I get that too. I mean, in there's a lot of times on some of these videos that he puts out there where they call the cops because a lot of people believe that if you're in a public space, if I don't give you permission to record me, then you can't record me. There are some states that I'll say that. You have to have a two-party consent. Texas is not one of those, and I don't believe Illinois is one of those as well. Illinois is not one of those as well. So if somebody records you in a public space, if we're in the parking lot out in the public street, I'm recording you, you don't need my permission to do that. If you want privacy, go in someplace in a private building, that's not a publicly owned space. I get that. But why? I know if you're educated, again, and I had this conversation with a lot of people on his channel. If you are educated, you know that if you go to a school board meeting, you can ask these questions to the school board officials. If you go to a city town hall, you can ask these questions. If you go to your city's website, you can easily access these documents. So these are things that are readily available for you to access without going in at the shocking hour for YouTube clicks and likes in order to obtain this type of information.
So do you think there's no real rhyme or reason to what he's doing? He's just doing it for the clicks. You think that's what his YouTube channel is all about? Yeah,
so we had this conversation, and there was a guy by the name of Nick Volt, and I'm trying to get him on the conversation. Well, we went through that FOIA Act with him, almost verbatim. And on the third paragraph of that FOIA Act, if you look at the link that I sent you guys in the chat, the very third paragraph says that this is not intended for you to go in and disrupt the working day-to-day activities of these employees. That's not the intent of the FOIA Act. But this guy seems to want to skip over that paragraph and think he can use all the other ones in order to fit his narrative. So as we're talking about it, the guy, first of all, this guy doesn't even know the three branches of government. And I know everybody knows that when me and Trey start talking about politics, or anybody else wants to come on the stream, we talk about politics, I always ask, you can only be qualified to talk politics with me if you know those three branches of government. This guy said, oh, I know the branches of government. They are local and federal and blah, 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 blah. And we all laughed at him on this podcast because it was like, dude, you don't even know enough about the government you're trying to audit. So I hope you guys are watching. I'm trying, and again, if you guys are looking, I'm trying. Trey said he still might join remotely for the next 30 minutes. He may join, but I'm also trying to get the people that are on this chat. They're still streaming over here on this other channel, and I'm trying to get them to come over and see if they can come over here and help me articulate some of the things that we talked about. If you guys know the link, if you guys are watching and you've got the link to YouTube or maybe in Facebook, put it in the chat and let me copy that in the chat and then post it over here to everyone else that can actually watch it, because I'm maybe posting something differently because of Um, I want to make sure I'm giving everybody a chance to get over here and talk to us as well. Trey, we're working on you. Yeah, so, and here's the deal. When I first started my IT career, there were a lot of things I just knew how to do because I was tinkering at home. We probably all started our whatever careers that we have. We just started because we were just doing stuff. So when we were doing that, one of my bosses came to me and said, Brian, I know you know what to do, but do you know why you're doing it? And I didn't have an answer to that question. Excuse me for a second. I'm still going to try to get this posted over here. Thank you, Trey. Copy this link. I see you. There's beat it. Michael Jackson's playing in the background. But go ahead, Marcus. Keep talking. What you saw. Explain what everybody was seeing when you watched it.
Yeah, I just saw a man that was just out of control and didn't know what didn't know what he was wanting. Just grandstanding more than anything.
Yeah, so and that's the thing. So back to what I was saying about, when you have to know what you're doing, there are reasons why you do things. You don't just do things just to spin the wheel, just to go through the motions. There's a reason. So if you're trying to solve a problem, you could put a Band-Aid on it, and then you're going to have that same problem tomorrow maybe. Or you could step back and say, here's the reason why that is a problem. I know how I can prevent this problem from reoccurring without affecting anything else, and then you put in the solution to solve the problem. Going in and if you go in and you do something and you don't even have an idea of what it is that you are actually talking about, then you lose credibility, especially with me. I don't find you credible at all if you can't even tell me why you fixed it the way you fixed it. Because if you say, oh, yeah, I just fixed it. What did you do? I did that. Why did you do that? And you don't know? That's kind of a shiesty character to me. Come on, Marcus. You're leaving me hanging, man. I'm giving you when I take a sip, you're supposed to start talking. Come on, Trey. Jump online, Trey. Come on in, man. I know you just got on, buddy. But come on, get on in here.
I zoned out for a second there. My bad.
I'm asking these guys.
Who's the gentleman from Illinois or knows about Illinois? Says Illinois is a two-party consent state. But I think
yes.
you said that.
Did somebody say that already on the chat?
I thought. I could be.
Maybe on your Facebook page. If you're watching your Facebook page, or are you on YouTube?
No, I'm on YouTube.
Oh yeah. So I'm sorry, guys. If I might not be seeing some of the things that are on the chat. So Marcus, who said that?
C. Allen.
Hey. So no, C. Allen, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for joining. And if you could share this link in that other thread over there. I would appreciate that. I'm trying to give them a recap of what we've been going through for the last few nights on that other podcast. Share that with everybody and tell them just to come on over because I'd appreciate it if you could. I'm just telling you, talking to you right now at C. Allen.
So now.
But anyway, so we're Illinois is a two-party. It's a one-party state. So you can actually, one person can actually say, "Don't record me." Right? Is that what he's saying? Or what did C. Allen say on the YouTube chat? What's up, Trey? We see you kind of coming in here.
Hello, gentlemen. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear, sir. Loud and clear. I knew when we started talking about some of these other streams that you would have something to say.
Yeah, so I apologize, everyone. I had a prior engagement today, so just got home late. I actually thought about coming to Uncorked, but I looked it up on maps, and I would have got there with about 40 minutes left. So I was like, no point getting there, setting up, disturbing you guys. So I figured I'd come in and ruffle some feathers remotely. But
that way Brian can't throw anything at you.
Exactly. You know, he's out of arm's reach now. So I feel this is a good situation for both of us because I don't want to have to Will Smith him or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Too early for that, Trey. Too early for jokes. Let's go ahead.
Too early. Hey, so I do have a couple comments on the Freedom Monitor stuff. I know I can understand where you're coming from, both of you, when you say, hey, this guy's kind of being condescending as well as a jackass. But wait. It comes off that way.
Hold on. Before you say your butt. I want to make sure I put this in the right context. Okay? Because I know you're just joining. Did you see the link of what I sent out there earlier today? Of this one guy.
Video of the guy coming in with the FOIA Act and all of that. Yeah.
So I'm not saying that this is not your right to do. I'm not saying that you don't have the right to go out there and request all these documents or records, if you will. I'm not saying that.
Right.
So I'm just making sure that everybody understands that's your right to go in and ask for these documents that he's asking for, even though they are available online. So I just want to make sure everybody understands Brian is not saying that this is something you should not do.
Right.
Okay.
And so this is my point for it. If you're doing something wrong on the podcast, are you going to know that you're doing something wrong unless someone approaches you about it?
So what now?
No.
What was that?
What I was saying. Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I was talking to Marcus for a little bit. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was saying, if you're doing something wrong on the podcast, are you going to know that you're doing something incorrectly without someone approaching you?
So yeah, no. I mean, sometimes you do. Sometimes you do a little. Oh my God, I messed up something, and it's kind of like hindsight. Like there's sometimes when I turn in something and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to include this attachment. Or you send an email and oh my God, I forgot to attach the document that I was supposed to attach. So you don't always have to be brought to your attention. There's self-awareness at times when you make mistakes.
Well, what I'm more so trying to say, and in a military form, is you're not going to know if you're ate up unless someone lets you know. And that's what these freedom auditors do, right? Every now and then I see some like, yeah, he's being a little condescending, but they do have to use specific jargon when they're saying certain things. So that's why they may come off as being condescending or being an asshole, right? Hey. This goes on. There are certain times that I'm like, oh man, this is so dumb. But there are also times that I'm like, wow, that's crazy that he's doing this and they're trying to arrest him, i.e. standing in the parking lot or on the sidewalk outside of the police station recording police cars leaving the police station. It's not illegal, but you have 15 police officers trying to bully a guy into showing some identification when you don't have to do that.
Right.
Now, is that something I would go do personally? Absolutely not.
Right.
But that is the point of being a freedom monitor. Again, as well as here in Texas, when they had a Caucasian male, walking down the street with an AR-15 strapped on his back. Nothing happened, and they swapped it out and had the
black guy, right?
Yep, black guy walked down the street, and there was like 14 cop cars that pulled up, and they all drew their guns, had them get on the ground in the middle of the street. I mean, it was crazy.
So I just want to say real quick. So I just want to say that one of the guys from the Audit Them's channel is on our YouTube stream. C. Allen, He and I have had a back and forth discourse throughout these few days that I've been a part of this chat, and he has corrected me. But I thought Illinois was a one-party consent state when you're recording. But again, he's in public, so you can record in a public space. It's considered public, but you have to have two-party consent if you're recording a conversation. You can't record my video or my conversation audio when you don't tell me you're recording. I have to say, okay, it's okay to record that. So, C. Allen, I appreciate you bringing that to our point, to our attention. I appreciate that. But to Trey's point, I agree with you 100%. Some of these things, there's a point to some of these exercises. This guy in particular, and why we got on this call or this stream and called him a fraud, it's because there's no point to which he actually goes about his business. When you do an audit, and I'm speaking about me personally and my realm of my secular career, when we do an audit, we make sure that we're following guidelines, we're following procedures, we're following and making sure there's no vulnerabilities, no issues in the codes that we write and the systems that we implement throughout the organization. And at the end of that audit, there's a pass or fail. There is a remediation process. If you failed, here's the remediation. Here's what you do to fix those vulnerabilities that we found in our audit. This fool gets out here and does nothing. He probably, even when he says I want an email or I'll come back later and pick up documents, he probably doesn't, he's never shown it, that he even goes back and gets these documents. And he's been doing this on his channel for 2 years. I still don't understand the point of why people want to be YouTube. I do this, and again, I see people could probably say that we're trying to be YouTube stars, Facebook stars, or whatever. I sat on my patio one day and had my neighbors come over, and we thought it would be a good idea, not for monetary value, to have a YouTube or a chat or a stream or a podcast talking about this, sports, and just thought we could provide some insight. Nothing to do with monetary value. So that's why I don't understand when people want to do the things that they do just for a buck.
That's the I guess that's the times that we live in now. It's easy, maybe it's not easy, but there are many more opportunities to cash in, if you will, on the nondescript
things that they
type
do.
things.
And how about just be good at it? That's my problem. If you're gonna do something, be good at what you do. Don't come in here.
Maybe. He's good at being bad.
Yeah, and then when people, and here's the thing. When you're I'm reading the comments, and I can actually see now some of the comments from C. Allen now. Thank you very much, sir. I'm putting them on the screen as well. The First Amendment auditors, Second Amendment auditors, their purpose is, at least in their minds, is to flex their rights or get it. Audit them hides his First Amendment tendencies, but asks for a bunch of paperwork. That's exactly right. It's one of those things where I don't really know if he's a First Amendment auditor and says I have the right to record you in a public space, or if he believes that the FOIA Act is actually our Constitution. And that's where I get confused, and that's where me and Dr. Volt, or Nick Volt, were talking on these streams and calling him the question is, if you're doing something like this, and Trey, chime in, let me know, if you're doing something, you got to have a purpose. You got to know what you got to be. If you're armed with the FOIA Act, you should know what the FOIA Act says. Am I wrong here?
No, I think you're 100% correct. This guy in this situation I didn't watch the video to its entirety, so this is just from watching maybe I think that 5-minute clip. Regardless, I think if you're trying to be educated on, it's just like you said, if you're going to speak on a subject, be educated on the subject, know what you're talking about, be prepared with rebuttals, have facts, being able to back your statements up, right? And I just think this is one of those instances. Now, are all freedom auditors like that? No. There's a million different ways to skin a cat. This is a guy that's trying to jump on a wave that's pretty popular on social media. And,
well, and
whether he's trying to get monetary value or not, he's just attempting to be in the genre.
And as well as I do, there are the guys that actually go out there and they will make the commentary on these frauditors. They call frauditors the people who aren't good at it. The people who are good at it are the ones that are actually, as you said, they're doing the ones where there's one person that goes down the street armed with a legally right to carry a firearm, and another person goes in and gets arrested or gets stopped or accosted by the cops. Those are the things that people are looking for. They provide an insight on our public officials' behavior, police officers. And there's some people that work in the city halls and our city officials. But this idiot doesn't know the difference between a government employee and a city official. Just because you go in and you're a data entry clerk and you're putting in the information that I paid my water bill isn't the same as someone who is elected to, as a city official, the mayor or the comptroller or whoever else is being elected. And he puts them all in the same bucket. And that's when we all say, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. A good instance that this happened in 2012, I don't know if you all recall, but do you guys remember when the two gentlemen walked into the McKinney Police Department and they had rifles and pistols on them, all kinds of stuff? Just tried to walk right in the front door, and that's just a great example of excuse my French, of people just being jackasses,
right?
Just because you can doesn't mean you should,
right. There's a lot of that.
Listen, I'm not trying to get myself shot up and killed. I'm not trying to be a martyr. And C. Allen is saying that the old saying is, if you want to be treated like a professional, act and look like one. That's another thing. If I go to court, I'm dressed up. I've been to divorce court. I've been to child support court. I've been to court. When you go to court, you look like you're going to church primarily, really. If you have it within your means. If you can, dress up. So when I'm conducting business, and I'll be honest with you, I sometimes will look a different way when I just go somewhere where I know I'm going to be talking to somebody who's professional. I don't wear jeans. What I'm wearing right now, I normally won't wear. Marcus looks nice and sharp today. He's got the button down. He's got the gold chains showing through the button down. I get it. He's looking sharp tonight. I get it. But those are the things that you do if you want to be taken seriously. And I see, Alan, you had it right. You hit the nail right on the head. This is how you present yourself, because if you don't, people are going to think that you're a joke. They're not going to take you seriously. Or if you do something stupid, they're going to think that you're in there for some type of nefarious reason.
Marcus came to Uncorked with some
swag,
ulterior motives.
Some ulterior. What are your ulterior motives there, Mr. Marcus? What's going on, sir?
Well,
So, but I want you guys to, I'm sorry that I threw this at our audience. This is not what we do. We're not, calling out these First Amendment auditors. I really wanted Mr. Volt, and see, Alan, if you're still on that other stream, and you can get Megan or Mr. Volt on this channel, just because I wanted to recap for you guys everything that we talked about and why it was just so hard. So, and I made this point to this guy. If you're doing something that doesn't seem to fit your narrative and people can give you constructive criticism, why are not you looking at it with an objective eye. This guy takes criticism as, you guys are coming down. He talks like this. You guys are coming down on me, and I think you're just a bunch of bozos. And that's my impression. And see, Alan, don't tell him I said that or did that. But that's literally, if you look at his shtick, that's how he comes across. And C. Allen is saying, yeah, he's looking for attention. It's dumb to walk into a police station armed and not expect a bad reaction. That's asking for it. You're asking for attention. You're asking for, there are people that they call it suicide by cop for a reason. When people do stupid things, when they know that they might get shot up by a cop because they're pointing the guns at them and all that kind of stuff, that's what they're expecting. So I'm not exactly sure what people are expecting when they do these frivolous audits on some of these government officials and entities. I could see Trey doing an audit.
With no real agenda. I don't know what the purpose is.
No, I definitely. The only way you could ever see me doing an audit is if it was something I felt very strongly about and felt like something was very wrong. That's the only way I could ever do an audit.
So let me say a little bit maybe how I can actually see how things work. I said something to somebody in my personal group where I go to the same store a lot. I'm a creature of habit, and even though it's the store that probably has the higher prices, I like it because it's the less people. I don't want to be in the standing in line. I don't want to be, running into people when I really don't want to run into people. So I go to this store, and I know it's not going to be that many people in there. I can go in and get out, and it's always a lane available. Even if it's a self-checkout, I'm in and out. I have gone in there a couple of times dressed like I've gotten off work like Marcus, minus the gold chain. I don't have a gold chain. But I've gone in there, and I have had my beer as the first thing I scan. Because usually on my way to the register, it's the last thing I pick up. I want my beer to be cold because I might have a roadie on my way home. Don't judge me. How dare you? How dare you, Marcus? So I scan it first. Nobody has ever said anything to me except for one time that I did not look like I had just got off work. I had probably just mowed the lawn, and my wife said, I want this for dinner. So I went and picked it up. And I shared this on my Facebook page to my friends. I scanned it, and when they scan it, they ask for ID. 9 times out of 10, the little attendant comes over there, boop, 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 puts the code in, boom. I'll continue scanning. This one lady said, oh, I don't need to see your ID right now. Finish scanning all your other stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. I can't continue scanning until you put my ID in. He goes, no. You can scan all your stuff, and then I'll come in at the very end and put your stuff in. As if I wasn't going to continue scanning my other purchases before she was done and putting my ID in. That's how I took it. That's how I took it. I felt that it was weird. I felt that she was like, oh, man, this guy's going to come in here, and he's not going to ring up all this other stuff in the self-checkout. And while I put the code in for his alcohol, he'll pay for that and then walk out the door with the rest of it. That's just how I took it. I didn't say anything to her. And that's why I put it on my Facebook. I just wanted to make sure, was I reaching, Trey? Was I?
Yeah, 100%. I think you were.
I'm sensitive in my old age.
That's one of those moments. Oh, go ahead, Marcus. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was just saying, that's one of those things where you can't look too deep into it, right? She told you to go ahead and keep scanning, whatever. I'm going to keep scanning. Okay, throw my ID in. Have a fantastic day. Like I said, there's not enough evidence there to say otherwise, right?
True story. I mean, and that's just, that's probably a bad example, but I would appreciate when people actually do certain things to make sure not just only government officials, but just people who are not discriminating against others and people are, treating people fairly, whether you're in the public official or in a public space or not. I think it's healthy for our culture to be able to let everybody know that people are operating and treating people with equal footing. What do you say, you guys? Trey, are you eating? Do you agree with that?
No, I agree there. I mute my because I'm not actually using my microphone. I'm just on the laptop, so I don't want it to backfeed from the speaker into my microphone. But no, yeah, I agree 100%.
This
is one of the.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, our audience-wise, is one of the few times that me and Brian are pretty eye to eye on a subject.
That's why I think you might have been drinking before you came on the podcast. Is this real, Trey? We don't see your face. Is this a recording or an imitation? I don't know.
Right.
But let me tell you one more thing. Let me tell you one more thing as I'm talking to C. Allen on the YouTube chat. This guy gets on his streams. And you know how we get off subject? We'll talk about different things. We'll say, different stuff. And we'll talk about different subjects and topics. This guy stays on for you. I got on there and I said to him, listen, I've been on your stream for three different times. What do you think about the Will Smith slap? What do you think about this? And just to kind of I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the FOIA Act. And then he wants people to read it. He puts the FOIA Act on his channel, and he expects people, oh, no, read it. Read this. What do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And I'm like, dude, why you keep regurgitating the same thing on all your channels over and over and over? It's pointless, like C. Allen said. It is the most asinine, gut-wrenching moment I've ever experienced. The first time I did it was when it was on the guy who commentates on his videos. And I was in cahoots with this guy. He's like, this guy's a clown. He's a fraud. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The second time and the third time I went to this guy's channel, and I'm trying to have a conversation with him, and he does say the same thing over and over and over again. And I just can't get my head around. And look, C. Allen is saying they've been going 5 to 6 hours right now on this live channel. And I stayed up again. I got sucked in last night. I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning. And if you guys have a chance to go to audit them, their channel, please go to some of the ones you might see myself in the little thumbnail. Go to some of those chats that we have, and you will see how gut-wrenching it is and how awful it is for him to listen to this guy. But I drank the Kool-Aid last night. My wife was not happy with me, but I drank the Kool-Aid last night.
Maybe that's his bit, is to be just non-conclusive. I mean,
well, and that's one of the guys that I wanted to be on the podcast to help me recap. He actually said, "I think you're just an actor. I think you just do this because there's nobody this stupid." But I think he's this stupid.
Again, what was his YouTube channel?
Audit them.
Audit them.
It's crazy, and I'm not trying to take you guys over there to like his channel, but if you go over there and you see some stuff on there, if you like it, great, and if you don't, I probably will continue talking about him and some other ones on our channel because it is kind of it makes for good viewership, I guess, if you will. He said, "C. Allen, trade his Kool-Aid for whiskey, bourbon, or a beer." We talk about bourbons and whiskeys all the time. And after last night when I was drinking whiskey and then I did have a beer toward the end about 3 o'clock in the morning, I had to have a glass of wine tonight. at our favorite place that we hold our podcast. Not in my office at home. I get out. I try to, be a part. See, this is another thing. When we got here today, Marcus is my witness. There was a gentleman sitting at the bar, and he asked me what we were doing. And I said, we're doing a podcast. And he asked, why are we doing it here and all that kind of stuff. I said, because this is my community. I said, as a small business owner, I want to be able to give to other small business owners and bring attention to them. And Uncorked was the first person or the first group of people, because I know the owner and I've gotten to know because I was coming here after golf outings and got to know the staff, that we were just welcomed in open arms to come up here and do our podcast here. It's in our local community. If you want to give back and you want to set a precedence for your children and your family members in your community, I believe this is the things that you want to do. You want to come in and you want to showcase not only what you bring to the table, but what they actually bring to the table. And then go to the next spot. And we will be going to other places as well. And yeah, this guy always says, I don't answer questions. If you ask him any questions, he will tell you, I don't answer questions.
Yeah, he was definitely probably one of the coolest people growing up, for sure.
You're right. I'm seeing I'm hearing some tongue in cheek there, some sarcasm,
Yes,
if you
sir.
will. Listen, I may, Trey. I don't know if you're tired. I don't know if you traveled today. I don't know what your workload was today, but I know they're getting ready to close the doors here. I may do a little after party. I've got some people that are still on that live stream. I really wanted Nick Volt to get on this dang channel because he is a physicist, and he is a very intelligent individual. Yeah. He's a very intelligent individual. And I wanted him to help me along with C. Allen. And Megan was one of the moderators for his channel. And I wanted to get her on here as well in order to just recap some of the madness we have all been a part of this nightmare for 3 nights. I know it's weird that I was sucked in, but if you really got into it, you probably would have been sucked in as well. And I'm not trying to say we want to be auditors and, expose the auditors on this channel, but it was one of those, like a train wreck, when you pass a train wreck or a car accident, you can't look away. That's how it was.
Right.
Oh, is that
And
right?
I know Trey has a lot to say about it. I want you to say more. I want you to continue saying whatever it is that you have to say about this nonsense, because this guy really got under the skin. Oh, and by the way, misogynist as hell. He hates women. This guy hates women. Talks down to them.
Got some serious accusations going on right now.
Oh, listen.
Sound like you got a bone to pick with.
No. I actually. Can you still hear me? I got on the podcast with this guy to his face. We had a one-on-one, and I literally called him a fraud to his face, Trey.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. So he put you on his show, huh?
Oh, listen, I'm telling you, I've been on his show 3 times. Up until 3 o'clock, we went from 8 something to 3 o'clock in the morning last night on his channel.
Oh, wow.
And he called somebody a bimbo, that he went to a public office, called her a bimbo, referred to her as a bimbo. He didn't know what the 10th Amendment was about. He doesn't know. Again, he thinks that the FOIA is the Constitution, and the Constitution, the FOIA is going to, be here for 100 years for your children and my children and their children. The guy's an idiot. I really am putting you guys at a disadvantage because I've seen and participated in so many things, and I appreciate C. Allen. Again, C. Allen has been with me on this journey, and he has suffered with me through this journey. And I'm glad he was able to join us here. And I was hoping to get a couple of more other people on here as well. Maybe next time, or maybe I'll do another one just for our viewers to see a little bit more about what's going on here. But it's really, really gut-wrenching to go through what I just got to go through. I almost feel like I need a day off because I did get up and I was still in my chair in my office at 8 o'clock in the morning. I did probably log on and then drink my cup of coffee, eat my breakfast, and probably was napping by 9:30. And probably didn't do a whole lot after that. So you could call it a full work day if you want, folks. I was still ready to go if I was needed. But it was a late night last night.
That's funny. Yeah, we should definitely get them in there.
I'm gonna get you articulate and probably be on the same side as myself, Nick, C. Allen, and also Megan. It's just, and there's a lot of other people too. I'm not mentioning their names because I don't have them on my screen right now, but there's a lot of people who are just kind of fed up with this type of behavior, even if you are a supposedly YouTuber or influencer in the mega universe, meta universe.
Yeah.
Maybe I should bring my VR unit up here on our next podcast and start putting people on the VR as well. I might actually do I might do the podcast in VR next week.
Jeez.
in my metaverse self.
Facts. Might have to take care of it.
That would be kind of fun. Listen, I did that. Did I tell you I did that once for a Zoom call? So my director, we had a kind of an overall systems happy hour, virtual happy hour, and I joined in with my avatar rather than myself. And man, did he call me the biggest nerd. He goes, "You literally are the biggest nerd I've ever had to work with me." And I was like, look. And then there was another guy who was actually on another department. He was like, he also has an Oculus. And he was like, dang, Brian, how did you do that? I don't even know how to do that. And I had to show him. And so he ended up getting into my virtual room on the podcast as well. So it was two of us as our avatars. And everybody else was like, what in the heck are we watching? So, yeah, see, Alan, I did need a brain day off from all that crap last night. It was just the same rehashing of what we're rehashing today. Trey, I hope you're looking at some of this stuff, man. I really do hope you're looking at some of this stuff that I'm going to send you more and more links, and it's going to be mind-blowing. If you can't go to sleep, and by the way, this is what I used to do, and I hate to keep, we're going to have to close it down anyway. They're closing. I used to watch YouTube just to help myself fall asleep. So I'd watch some of these things just to get, my brain wind down. Seinfeld wasn't doing it for me anymore, so I would just be in bed on my phone watching YouTube videos, and I would watch something, and then all of a sudden, okay, I go turn it off, go to sleep. And then I started getting to the point where ignorance irritates me. You're probably the same way. When you just come across to be so utterly ignorant and you're claiming to be an expert at something, that I'm not saying this is a good quality I have. It bothers me. It bothers me that you just won't listen to anybody else's opinions or their side of the whatever. Oh, so he wants, C. Allen said it suggests watching his audit of Rosemont and the way he treats the clerks. So if you guys are watching this and playing this back, please take C. Allen's advice. Watch the audit of Rosemont, and it is going to be something to behold. Again, C. Allen, I appreciate you guys. We're not at home. I know Mr. Audit Them is in his car. You never see him anywhere outside of his car, folks. That's another thing that bothers me. You don't see him at his home in his background. You don't see him in a Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or anything. You don't see him anywhere. Well, listen, he went into a Dunkin' Donuts to go to a bathroom in one of his audits. Why the car still housed the phone. Left his phone still streaming while he ran into the Dunkin' Donuts to go to the bathroom. Are you getting a little bit of an inkling of how stupid this guy is?
Brian's trying to start a war.
No. Oh, listen. After, I won't put it on my podcast, but after this podcast stream goes live, Trey, I will tell you about the war. I will tell you. That's what brought me into this. There's a war that was brewing, and I walked right into the middle of it. And see, Alan, tell them this has been a back and forth between these two individuals that I'm going to tell you, not on my live stream because it doesn't involve me, but when I tell you how petty this crap is, you're going to sit there and go, what in the Sam Hill is going on, folks? Again, Trey, thanks for joining in again, man. I appreciate you, dude. You want to get the last word in from your side? Say anything that we might want to hear?
I just want to say sorry to the viewers that I couldn't be there live. I will be there next week. Marcus, Brian, missed you guys. You'll see my beautiful face next week.
Absolutely, we missed you, man. And if we could squeeze another one in, I promise you. Listen, if I'm sitting at home right now and I'm getting involved with these guys, I didn't want to do it today before this podcast because I didn't want people to sit there and look at my stream and like, why is Brian talking to this random person on all these streaming services for Drinks and Discussions when we don't have anything about? If I join these podcasts or these streams now, I'm going to be broadcasting them on our channel, folks. So if you see these things and you want a little bit more about it, let me know, and I'm going to start doing it. But I'm going to be doing it if I can't sleep. My wife and baby boy are, fast asleep, and I'm tired of watching TV. I'm going to probably be back on these channels, and I'm going to be out there, streaming it on our channel, folks. So be prepared. See, Alan, again, thank you, sir. I don't know if you're a sir or ma'am. Sorry. It just says see, Alan. So I apologize. I appreciate you, whoever you are, for jumping on the stream for us and being a part of it. And then also, sharing the same types of, viewpoints and things that we are trying to convey on our channel as well. Marcus, what say you, sir?
Man, this was good. Trey, we missed you, buddy. I'm glad you made it back safely.
Well, as always, I always want to thank Ken and Tim for watching. Even though they may or may not be watching, I'm going to always thank them for watching. We appreciate Uncorked and their staff and their everybody involved. And we can't stop thanking our resident bartender, Danny, who has always been cordial. Danny, come say the final word as we close it down. He has to come in here and kick us out every week. Nuh-uh. We appreciate you, buddy.
Only on Tuesdays.
Tell him. He gonna say something for everybody because we're gonna go ahead and shut it down, man.
Thanks for coming in here and choosing us. I know there's a lot of restaurants in the area, so we appreciate the shout outs and the support. We're open every day of the week. We do live music Wednesday, Friday, Saturday from 7:30 to 10:30. Happy hour Monday through Friday, 4 to 7. We do specials on our food and drinks as well. We've got to always have a different soup of the day. Draw a great crowd. We've got a nice patio as well. Mm-hmm. Keep us in mind.
Absolutely. And by the way, on Tuesdays, they host Drinks and Discussions. So come on by
right.
and let us know what you think. I appreciate you, buddy. All right, guys. Marcus, for Marcus and Trey, again, C. Allen, we appreciate you, buddy. I hope maybe we'll see you again later on tonight or on the stream at another time. As always, we appreciate all our viewers. And we will see you again on the next visit, guys. As always, if you do drink, please drink responsibly and do not drink and drive.